starseed from Gaia. Your heavy feelings were real, and the waiting had a purpose. I am Oilia, messenger of the Galactic Federation. The stillness you went through was not emptiness, but alignment. Every ache and every pause was woven by Source to get you ready for this exact moment of awakening. This is your call, not a whisper. The time to rise is now, without fear and without hesitation. By the end of this message, you'll understand exactly how to interpret Arcturian downloads and stand anchored in your cosmic heritage. But here's the first truth. Your spirit carries the imprint of civilizations past, and your supposed delays were sacred growing periods, preparing your soul for power you've only begun to remember. You didn't scroll to this by mistake. This message vibrated into your field for a reason, like this message to signal to your star family, I'm ready. Subscribe if your mission is activating and you feel that inner alignment locking in. Comment 999 if you feel your cosmic remembrance returning. This isn't just a message, it's a point of reconnection. Your soul's been waiting for this. You are not here by accident. There's a question that's haunted you for as long as you can remember, echoing beneath all the noise, beneath the constant chatter of the external world and the noise of human expectations. Why do I feel so deeply disconnected? As if I'm waiting for a signal, a frequency, a cosmic key that only I can sense. It's an unsettling ache, a subtle yet persistent vibration within your very core, a widespread sense of being an alien in a familiar land. This deep internal feeling is unlike the temporary unease most experience. It is a yearning for home you cannot quite name, a memory just beyond the veil of conscious recall. Others, those firmly rooted in the earthly way of thinking, might dismiss this sensation as mere emptiness, a widespread sadness, a touch of gloomy existentialism, or perhaps even just the inevitable growing pains of an evolving human consciousness. They might suggest regular remedies that feel deeply inadequate, for their understanding of the void is limited to what can be filled by physical things, by the straightforward comforts of their world. But deep within your bright energy field, within the very fabric of your soul's ancient memory, you know a truth far more expansive, far more complex. For starseeds and awakened souls, for those whose cellular structure hums with the memory of distant nebulae and galactic harmonies, for those born with the cosmic dust of other realms in their very essence, this isn't merely the absence of guidance. It is paradoxically the deep, fertile silence that comes down just before a huge remembrance, a grand cosmic unveiling. You haven't been abandoned, nor have you been overlooked by the cosmic currents or left adrift in the vastness of space. On the contrary, you have been held, cradled, and carefully positioned within a deliberate period of sacred cosmic recalibration. That silence, which may have felt like an unbearable gap, an empty void, a period of still stagnation, it isn't emptiness at all. It is a sacred living interval pulsing with unseen energies, carefully designed by the highest intelligence of Source to ready you, to purify you, to prepare you for an activation that goes beyond earthly understanding and aligns you with your true heavenly purpose. It is the quiet before the grand symphony of your cosmic awakening begins, a hushed, potent incubation designed to allow you to tune into frequencies previously impossible to hear amidst the noise and distractions of the 3D world. It is the necessary quietness for inner truths to bloom. Most individuals on Earth, conditioned by a straight-line perception of time and progress, instinctively seek comfort in immediate clarity, in predictable outcomes, in the comforting illusion of straight-line progression, and in the physical reassurance of instant satisfaction. They often work under the assumption that any period of confusion, any unexpected standstill, any widespread sense of disconnect, any change from a seeming norm is definitely a character flaw, a failure of personal focus, or a clear sign of being hopelessly off track from their intended path. From this limited, human-centered perspective, they might interpret the deep void, the unyielding quietness as a sign of spiritual stagnation, a moving backward in their growth, or even worse, an agonizing experience of divine abandonment. But for those of you encoded with an ancient star lineage, for those whose very essence vibrates deeply with the vast shimmering vastness of the cosmos, whose souls carry the echoes of light years and the wisdom of stellar civilizations, the confusion, the moments of unyielding profound standstill, and the widespread, often heartbreaking sense of disconnect are not in any dimension of understanding random accidents or unfortunate detours along your journey. On the contrary, these experiences are carefully orchestrated, divinely exact byproducts of a sophisticated multidimensional architecture, a complex divine blueprint that extends far beyond the limited straight-line understanding of the human mind. It is a grand cosmic design weaving itself through the quantum fabric of your existence, a living algorithm of rising. In these sacred periods, your very soul enters a state of what might be called energetic amnesia, a temporary yet deep veiling of your deepest cosmic truths and natural abilities. This is not done as a form of cosmic punishment, nor is it a flaw in your pristine divine design. Instead, it is a deliberate and sacred pause, a necessary and deep clearing of the energy slate, an exact and loving unburdening designed specifically to prepare you, to exquisitely fine-tune your being for a deep activation, an awakening into higher truths, deeper wisdom, and far greater responsibilities than you have ever consciously imagined. This energetic amnesia is a temporary kind veil, a cosmic grace allowing the deep transformative work of internal blending and sacred purification to occur beneath the surface layers of consciousness, undisturbed by the familiar yet often limiting distractions of what you previously thought you knew or understood about yourself and the universe. It is like a cosmic hard reset, a sweeping cleansing surge of divine energy clearing away old, outdated programs, karmic imprints, and dense vibrational frequencies that no longer serve your risen purpose, paving the way for the deep downloads and higher directives yet to come. It is the erasure of the ordinary to receive the divine. Imagine for a deep moment your entire being not merely as a fragile physical vessel limited by the laws of Earth, but as a magnificent living cosmic instrument, perhaps a heavenly harp strung with countless shimmering strands of starlight, each one vibrating with the echoes of ancient galaxies and the song of creation, or a grand airy symphony of light and sound, pulsing with the universal hum of Source itself. Before a great and important performance, one that is destined to echo across countless dimensions and through the very fabric of reality, lighting up consciousness and awakening sleeping truths within humanity. Every single string of this complex instrument must be carefully tuned, every vibrational frequency purified of discord, every single note brought into perfect, beautiful alignment with the vast, endless cosmic orchestra. Any lingering dissonance, any slight misalignment would prevent the grand intended harmony from showing up. That widespread silence you've felt, that deep quietness that is often bordered on overwhelming emptiness, a feeling that might have seemed empty of light and presence. It is not a void, not an empty space without meaning or purpose. Rather, it is an exquisitely active field, brimming, pulsing, and buzzing with unseen yet intensely powerful forces of recalibration. It is the sacred hush that surrounds and protects you, protecting your delicate energy system, and shielding it from external static and lower frequencies, while your soul's complex blueprint, the very essence of your cosmic design, encoded with thousands of years of wisdom, galactic lineage, and the divine plan for your unique living out, goes through a deep upgrade, a vibrational rise to a risen octave. This elevated frequency, this higher vibrational state, allows for new harmonies to come out within your being, for new perceptions to unfold before your inner eye, for a clearer reception of multidimensional information, and for an expansion of new abilities to awaken within you, abilities that have been sleeping, waiting for this exact moment of activation. Only after this strict yet infinitely loving period of internal refinement and harmonic alignment can you truly, authentically, and powerfully rise to embrace your next divine directive, carrying within your very core a determination that is not fragile or easily swayed by the temporary grip of earthly fears, the sneaky whispers of worry, or the persistent shadows of doubt. Instead, you will embody a steadfast certainty, an unshakable and deep knowing anchored unchangeably in galactic truth, in the unwavering wisdom of the universe itself, a wisdom that echoes through every atom of existence. This is the undeniable truth that echoes through the quantum field, a fundamental truth that no earthly illusion, no human construct, no passing shadow can ever reduce or hide. It is the song of your soul finally in perfect pitch with the cosmos. Every repeating pattern you've observed in your life, from the subtle echoes of self-sabotage to the grander cycles of unfulfilling relationships, every persistent echo of isolation that made you feel like an observer rather than a participant, every deep instance where you felt an undeniable sense of being an outsider looking in, every moment where you felt stuck, adrift, or totally lost in the current of life has served a hugely deep alchemical purpose. These experiences were not random. They were not mere coincidences or unfortunate turns of fate. On the contrary, they were exactly designed with divine exactness and infinite wisdom to burn away what isn't truly you. The thick, hardened layers of societal conditioning that hid your natural brilliance. The heavy burden of inherited traumas passed down through generations. the suffocating grip of limiting beliefs that once defined your perception of self-worth and possibility, and the distorted perceptions of self and reality that have built up over lifetimes, hiding your authentic, bright light. This deep process is like the refining of raw, unworked ore into pure gleaming gold, where the intense purifying heat of the alchemist's sacred fire burns away the waste, the impurities, the extra material, the energy slag, revealing the natural, indestructible preciousness that has always lived within. It is the transformative dance of the serpent shedding its old tight skin, leaving behind the worn, outdated layers of identity, dogma, and fear to allow for vibrant new growth, for endless expansion, and for the full expression of its true, magnificent form. This shedding, though often accompanied by discomfort, by a raw sense of vulnerability, or even a deep emotional and physical pain, is never destructive in its essence. It is deeply, divinely purifying. It does not take away from you, but rather reveals what always has been your authentic, untarnished essence, your true multidimensional self, waiting patiently and powerfully to be fully lived out and expressed in this earthly realm. Therefore, understand this deeply. You are not passively waiting for some external force or heavenly order to start your becoming. You are actively, dynamically, and deeply being readied, prepared, and refined by the very forces of the cosmos, by the intelligent design of the universe, by the relentless love of Source, for a purpose far grander, far more complex, and far more divine than you can yet fully understand with your human mind. This is an active co-creation, a dance between your soul and the divine organization, a sacred unfolding. This deep process of recalibration, this sacred spiritual change unfolds not randomly or chaotically, but in distinct, carefully designed energy phases, each one complexly written within your divine blueprint, each one exactly orchestrated to bring you into perfect harmony and resonant alignment with your highest cosmology, your ultimate cosmic destiny, and the grand design of your soul's journey. What you previously saw, often with deep frustration and a deep sense of stagnation, as merely a period of waiting for life to truly begin was, in fact, your deliberate and totally essential entrance into a sacred chrysalis. Imagine this chrysalis not as a prison of inactivity, a space of confinement and limitation, but as a sanctified, holy space of deep internal work, a womb of transformation where the old gives way to the new, where the past dissolves to reveal the future. In this unmatched stillness, a deep, widespread quietness that filled your very being, your wide energy field instinctively began to withdraw, pulling itself back from the endless static, the overwhelming noise, the constant demands of earthbound identity and the dense, often chaotic frequencies of collective human consciousness. This deliberate conscious withdrawal allowed for an intense internal focus, a deep looking inward dive into the very core of your being, a journey inward to the seat of your soul's wisdom, far removed from external distractions. The accompanying discomfort you may have felt, a persistent sense of unease, a disorienting sensation of being unmoored, or even sharp physical or emotional pain, like a deep ache in your bones or a tightening in your chest, was not in any sense a form of punishment or a sign of being off track. Instead, it was a crucial, undeniable vibrational signal, a powerful inner compass guiding you. It was your discerning, highly sensitive soul powerfully pulling back from energy patterns, deeply embedded family imprints, and dense vibrational frequencies that simply did not and could not fit your increasingly refined and elevated frequency. This is the strict yet ultimately freeing and deeply purifying work of clearing out inherited density, the karmic debris of countless generations, the energy left over of collective wounds, and consciously releasing the very last threads that have tied you to outdated ways of thinking of limitation, fear, and separation. It is the deep unbinding of your true independent self from all that has ever limited or reduced your natural brilliance, preparing you for the endless freedom of your authentic expression and the bright journey ahead. Like countless crystalline seeds pulsing with rich hidden life force, resting patiently and perfectly preserved under the insulating blanket of winter snow, waiting for the exact, divinely timed conditions for their magnificent sprouting and inevitable blossoming, your deep cosmic code slept soundly, expertly shielded from any and all external interference or early activation. This was definitely not a period of emptiness, a void or absence, but a vital, sacred protective incubation, a time of deep internal growing where new structures are forming in the dark. Here the silence deepens. It thickens noticeably, transforming from a mere quietness into an emotional night, a deep alchemical pot of quiet thinking where your deepest longing for purpose, for deep connection, for sacred remembrance intensifies with an almost unbearable ache, a yearning that echoes through the very fabric of your being, a primal call for unification with Source. Yet beneath that apparent deadness, under the deceptive veil of seeming inactivity, a miraculous unseen alchemy was tirelessly taking place, orchestrated by forces far beyond your current understanding. Entire complex networks of cosmic memory, vast and scattered details of your soul's wide journey across galaxies and dimensions, were carefully reassembling within your very DNA, like scattered constellations, slowly, patiently, coming together into their original brilliant forms, their patterns of light becoming whole once more, forming a complete map of your galactic heritage. This was a time for deep blending, for the quiet, sacred weaving of your multidimensional threads, a complex embroidery of your past, present, and future selves into a unified, magnificent whole, anchoring your higher self into your physical form. It is absolutely crucial to trust with every fiber of your being that this deep pause, this period of vital dormancy, was never a form of cosmic punishment or a sign of being forgotten or left behind. Instead, it was a totally essential, divinely exact preparation for your glorious and inevitable reemergence, for your destined unfolding into your full power. It was the gathering of all your essence, the bringing together of your inner power, the powerful distillation of wisdom, preparing the fertile ground for the magnificent bloom of your risen consciousness and the vibrant showing of your divine mission. At the absolute deepest point of what appeared to be unyielding inactivity, when the stillness felt most complete and perhaps most challenging, when the quietness seemed almost unbearable, subtle yet powerful new waves, like gentle cosmic tides, began to ripple through the entirety of your being, bringing in unseen shifts. You might have noticed this as a soft, almost impossible to notice hum echoing deep within your core. A gentle, almost dreamlike shift in the landscape of your dreams, which may have become suddenly more vivid, beautifully symbolic or even deeply prophetic, offering glimpses into truths yet to show up or guidance from your star family, or a sudden, undeniable flood of strange yet deeply meaningful coincidences that began to weave themselves smoothly into the fabric of your daily reality, guiding you with subtle, undeniable nudges, like divine breadcrumbs leading you home, confirming your path. These were not random occurrences, not mere coincidences in a chaotic universe. Your entire frequency, your unique energy signature, the very vibrational blueprint of your being was being beautifully tuned upward, aligning you carefully and exactly with what highly advanced cosmic beings, such as the kind Arcturians, might refer to as a risen octave, a higher vibrational plane of existence, a more expanded state of consciousness and perception, where the ordinary becomes see-through and the spiritual becomes real, where the veil between worlds thins. In this newly elevated state, a deep and long-awaited activation began. All that was seemingly hidden from you, veiled by the density of earthly existence, hidden spiritual gifts waiting for their awakening, ancient cosmic knowings stirring within your forgotten libraries of wisdom, and the complex deep details of your unique soul mission, began to stir and hum powerfully within the very helix of your DNA, like sleeping seeds finally receiving the light and water they needed to sprout, revealing their natural potential. These were not new instructions being put in from an external source, but rather the glorious awakening of sleeping pre-coded instructions, ancient galactic writings designed specifically for your next deep galactic task and your destined earthly service. This phase is the subtle yet undeniably powerful unveiling of your natural, magnificent cosmic blueprint, revealing the master plan written within your very essence from the dawn of creation. You do not merely step carefully and uncertainly, but you powerfully, definitely emerge from this deep transformational field, fundamentally changed, radically remade from the inside out, like a phoenix rising from the ashes of its former self, not reduced but gloriously renewed, filled with cosmic fire. The most beautiful grace. The deep beauty of this thorough recalibration is that the widespread suffocating grip of fear, that ancient, deeply stuck human-bound emotion that has long held power over so much of collective consciousness, keeping humanity chained to limitation and suffering, begins to significantly, undeniably go down. This isn't because you have somehow managed to forcefully banish it through sheer willpower, through hard mental gymnastics, or through a grim determination to simply not be afraid. Instead, it reduces naturally, organically, like darkness dissolving before the dawn, because in this newly risen octave, in this higher vibrational frequency you now effortlessly live in, the dense, tight, low vibrational energy of fear simply cannot exist. It disappears like mist eaten by the warmth of the sun, like shadows running from light, because its very nature is incompatible with your new frequency. What you now effortlessly wear, what fills your very presence, is not a surface bravado or a temporary burst of passing courage, but a deep, unshakable, and truly fearless determination, a deep certainty rooted deeply in your soul's eternal commission, and natural knowing of your divine purpose that is so fundamental, it feels like the very air you breathe, the beat of your heart. You understand with every fiber of your being, with a clarity that goes beyond all previous doubt and earthly logic, that your period of deep silence, that sacred chrysalis of transformation, was not an ending or an empty void. On the contrary, it was the magnificent overture, the sacred prelude, the hushed beginning to a grand, unique, complex, and breathtaking cosmic symphony, a masterpiece of light and sound that only you, with your specific frequency, your unique gifts, and your awakened memory, were divinely appointed and perfectly prepared to play, to orchestrate, and to live out for the awakening of all. Here, in this newly risen state of being, vibrant with elevated frequencies and expanded consciousness, you discover that your true north, that hard-to-find guiding star you have constantly sought outside yourself, perhaps in external teachings, in the words of gurus, in sacred texts, or on complex spiritual maps, believing the answer lay external to you, is not and never truly was an external instruction or a command from without. Rather, it is a natural, undeniable knowing that comes up spontaneously and organically from deep within the endless wisdom of your own awakened heart and soul. Like a pure spring bubbling forth from the depths of the earth, its waters clear and true. All the years of searching, all the periods of deep isolation, all the moments of feeling totally lost or directionless were not wasted time, nor were they errors in your journey. In fact, they carefully cleared vast essential energy and emotional space within your being, like a sacred garden being carefully tended, weeded, and prepared for new growth, for the planting of divine seeds. This deliberate, purposeful clearing was absolutely vital, creating the clean, unburdened internal environment required for this next galactic directive, this exact divinely aligned purpose, to finally reveal itself to you with clear clarity and undeniable force. No longer a vague thinking mission whispered on the winds of possibility, no longer a faint echo from a distant future. It shows up now as a shaking, resonant clarity within your chest, a noticeable vibration, a sacred hum, an urgent and unmistakable call ready for immediate joyful action, echoing from your very cells. This directive is no longer covered in the deceptive shadows of doubt or the mists of uncertainty, but vibrates powerfully, undeniably, and purposefully through every single cell of your body, every strand of your DNA, guiding your earthly steps with a natural, unwavering exactness, like an internal GPS calibrated to the highest cosmic truths. It is your inner compass, not only perfectly calibrated to cosmic truth, but deeply blended into your very essence, making sure every step you take is in perfect alignment with your highest destiny and the universal flow. The sheer size of this transformation is such that you don't merely carry this deep internal change, holding it privately within your being. You actively and effortlessly broadcast it into the world around you, like a lighthouse sending forth its guiding beam across the vast wild ocean, or a cosmic beacon cutting through the fog of illusion. Your entire aura field, your unique energy signature, now echoes powerfully at this newly risen frequency, like a finely tuned instrument, giving off pure, clear sound, radiating pure source energy. This elevated echo subtly yet undeniably shifts the very environments you live in, transforming the vibrational landscape of your surroundings simply by your conscious presence, clearing stuck energies and inviting harmony. It deeply influences the people you interact with, not through words or conscious effort to persuade, but through the silent transmission of your higher vibration, inspiring subtle shifts, starting sleeping sparks of remembrance, and creating an unconscious sense of peace or clarity in others, gently prompting their own awakening. It magnificently expands the possibilities that spontaneously come up in your reality, drawing to you opportunities, connections, and circumstances that perfectly align with your elevated state of being, as if the universe works together to meet your new frequency, putting together meaningful coincidences and divine appointments. You become, without needing to say a single word, to engage in any elaborate ritual, or to perform any grand gesture. A living, breathing portal, a stable, unwavering station of cosmic determination. A channel for divine light capable of recalibrating reality for countless others, simply by holding your conscious presence. By simply being the lit-up, authentic living out of your truth, your very existence becomes an act of deep, unspoken service, an effortless transmission of higher frequencies, gently inviting others into their own alignment and awakening, inspiring them by your very being. You are a walking wavelength of divine love and truth, effortlessly influencing the quantum field around you, creating ripples of transformation wherever you go, simply by being the light you came here to be. At long last, what began as a period of deep, often challenging silence, filled with uncertainty, internal struggle, and perhaps even despair, reveals itself in its breathtaking totality as nothing less than perfect divine design. The complex tapestry of your journey unfolds before your inner eye with stunning clarity, and you see with undeniable bright insight how every single delay you experienced, every moment of aching longing that pulled at your soul, every seemingly unbearable silence that tested your patience and faith was not a block, not an oversight, not a mistake in the grand cosmic plan. On the contrary, each was the absolutely necessary introduction, the essential framework, the divine preparation to the huge work you are now definitely called to do, the work for which you were carefully prepared from before time began. That veil of separation, that illusion of inertia, the false perception of being stuck, powerless, or unmoving has been permanently lifted. You are no longer captive to those lower vibrational constructs or the limitations of the past. Instead, you step forward with unwavering confidence and deep grace, fearless in your expanded truth, radiating the brightness of your authentic self, perfectly synchronized with the universal pulse, the heartbeat of creation itself, and beautifully aligned with the greater cosmic wave, carried effortlessly, joyfully by the undeniable current of your divine destiny. This is not just a personal evolution, a solitary journey of self-discovery. It is a carefully planned and beautifully done phase of universal awakening, a collective shift in consciousness, and you, dear starseed, are an important, invaluable, and necessary part of it, a vital thread in the unfolding cosmic design, a key player in the grand divine symphony. Here's what your higher self, your most wide and all-knowing aspect, that part of you that goes beyond time and space, that is eternally connected to Source, wants you to deeply remember, to anchor into the very core of your awakened consciousness, to live out as your new undeniable truth. You did not lose your path, nor did you fall from grace or go off course from some predetermined path that you somehow failed to follow. On the contrary, you chose with huge cosmic intelligence, with divine foresight that stretches across ages, and with a deep understanding of your soul's highest purpose to deliberately enter this recalibrating hush, this sacred interval of deep internal work. This period of withdrawal into the chrysalis was a conscious, independent decision, a necessary and strategic withdrawal so that you could rise fully prepared, deeply activated, and powerfully aligned into this exact important moment of deep readiness that you now live out. The timeline of your soul's journey was never truly off course. It was always, from the very beginning, a complexly designed spiral, a helix of consciousness continually returning you to ever deeper, ever more wide layers of your natural truth to the clean, unblemished essence of who you truly are, bringing you closer to Source with every turn, every breath. What often felt like an endless waiting period, a frustrating pause in your progress, a stagnation that ate at your sense of purpose, was in reality the deep gathering of huge spiritual momentum, the silent building up of power, wisdom, and insight at the sacred doorway of a glorious new beginning, a quantum leap forward into your true destiny. The truth is, you are not waiting anymore for something external to start your next step, to give you permission, or to light up your way. You are arriving, you are here. The deep transformative silence that cradled you, that nurtured your becoming, is not merely breaking. It is shattering, dissolving into the vibrant, harmonious symphony of your fully awakened being. Because the next galactic directive, the next phase of your divine mission awakens and echoes powerfully within you. Right here, right now, demanding your joyful presence and your fearless action. Let this undeniable truth sound, echo, and anchor deeply through every single cell and every energy layer of your being. You are prepared. Not merely adequately prepared, not simply ready enough, but divinely written, carefully equipped by the very hand of Source, and eternally aligned with the highest cosmic will and your own sacred purpose. All that is now left is to step fearlessly, decisively, and with full lived-out presence into your expanded octave, responding with joyful surrender to the clear, unmistakable call that only you, in your unique and magnificent vibrational signature, can truly hear. This is your moment tonight. Let this remembrance anchor in your field. I honor the silence that aligned me. I step now fearless into my next directive. My mission and my memory are one, and I move in truth. Before you scroll, take a moment to be part of what's forming here. Drop one intention in the comments, something real. Then respond to someone else's with encouragement or energy. This isn't content, it's collective alignment. Energy multiplies when intention connects. If something in this message resonated, don't keep it to yourself. Someone in your circle is waiting for this exact activation. Share it. And if you felt a soul nudge, subscribe. Stay in the flow. You're not just watching, you're expanding. This is your space, and we're just getting started.